Hello, welcome to this week's Wild Spirits News. My name is Sibylle and today I'll talk about pursuing your passion from intention to action. Someone wise once said, "Nothing in the world is as far as the path from good intentions to good deeds." And we're all familiar with this, aren't we? I mean, getting into action is kind of like the holy grail of getting shit done. Except this time it's not about chores, it is about what you actually want to do, as in pursuing your passions. And we often cite lack of time or lack of money as the reason why we don't pursue our passion more, but in actual fact, the real reasons are often inside of us. They're emotional or in our subconscious. And therefore your mission today is to get from intention to action. Task number 1 is create the right conditions. If you're going to sit around and wait for the right conditions to just happen, you're going to wait for a very long time. You're going to have to set up the conditions, create favorable conditions for you pursuing your passion, setting yourself up for success, so to speak. I've brainstormed a number of obstacles that can stand in your way and ways of how to deal with them. And I'm going to read that out to you now. Number 1, you're exhausted. We're all familiar with that, right? You can't even get up off the sofa because you're so tired. If that happens to you a lot, then ruthlessly insist on your rest. There's nothing more important than being rested and sleeping enough. But even beyond sleep, also learn to take breaks during your work. Learn to rest regularly, not just when you're already exhausted, but as a regular thing every day. Make that a habit. You're unwell or ill. If that is the case, take the time to heal. Don't see it as a nuisance or as a waste of time. You need to shift your mindset around this. If you're not well, taking the time to heal is exactly the intelligent thing to do. It's what's required right now, and it's the most productive use of your time. You're broke. First thing that comes to my mind then is take the Wild Money program. That's a 3-month coaching program that I'm offering, where you are guaranteed to make the money that you invest in the coaching program is guaranteed that you'll make this money back at least in these 3 months. And most people, I can tell you, most people make a lot more. This is just sorting out first of all, your mindset and also your actual concrete, the figures in your account once and for all. If you don't want to go into coaching, read books about personal finances. I recommend a lot in my newsletter. Get onto the Wild Spirits News. Create a budget and stick to it. And in your budget, create a category that is reserved for your passions. So you show yourself and the universe that you're taking this seriously by putting aside money for your passion or passions every single month. Your family doesn't respect boundaries. That's a tough one. Especially when they're used to walking all over you, as this is in some families. If you're the person who can never say no and they're used to that, you can't actually blame them for expecting you to be there all the time. You need to gently but firmly set those boundaries and explain how important it is for you to have time for yourself and to have time for your passions. And obviously also reserve time, quality time for your loved ones, because if they feel well cared for and seen, if they don't feel neglected, they're much more likely to go with you and to support you rather than sabotage your efforts. And the last point, you have to work overtime all the time in your job. Some jobs are like that. Now, what you could do is speak to your boss, talk about either hiring more headcount or shifting the workload a little differently or getting an assistant or whatever. Just talk through the possibilities. If it's a temporary thing, that's just life happening. There will always be times in life when you have less time than at other times. And that's normal, but if your job consistently and continuously expects you to stay all hours and work all hours, then it might be time to look for a new job. That again is a way for you to tell yourself and to prove to yourself that you're taking your own needs and your passions seriously and that your passions are a priority in your life. Task number 2 is from intention to action. Now that you've set yourself up for success, now that you've created the conditions, you need to immediately go and fill them with your passions. Because if you don't, this space will immediately be filled with something else. You'll either discover a new Netflix series to binge watch or social media or whatever. Our brains are just wired that way. So your task is now, after this video, when you finish this video, it'll be done in a minute or two. You'll immediately pursue your passion for at least 10 minutes. So you can do more, but you can do 10 minutes. And you might protest, and I'm a painter and I can't just get my brushes and my paints all wet and mixed and then not really paint. I'm telling you, picking up your paintbrush and even putting 2 lines on a piece of paper is 100% better than not picking it up at all. You can do anything for 10 minutes, and you're allowed to do more. You're allowed to pursue your passion for longer, but immediately after this video, at least 10 minutes. And going forward, you need to set 2 things. You need to set a minimum amount of time that you'll spend on your passion every day. That could be the aforementioned 10 minutes. And the desired amount of time. Let's say an hour or 2 even. It doesn't matter. Let's just say, as an example, I want to practice the piano for at least an hour every day. So that is my intention. On most days, I will aim to do this. On days where there's something, life is happening, I'm too tired, something is not, I'm not feeling it, then I'll fall back to the minimum and I'll do at least the 10 minutes or whatever my minimum is. Your minimum could be 5 minutes or 15, but it has to be a minimum that you can do every single day, even if you're not feeling it and even if things are crazy in your life. This way you set up a habit of always doing something for your passion. And this is the surefire way to, in the long term, stay in action mode and stop just thinking or wishful thinking and start actually doing. Which brings me to task number 3, which is, as usual, let me know. Hit the reply button on the email that you got the link to this video with and tell me what you're taking away from it. Do you recognize yourself in some of those obstacles? What are your next steps? What do you think? I'll reply to every email, I promise. And if you didn't get the link to the video in an email, that means you're not part of the Wild Spirits community yet and you must join us. Go to wildspiritscoaching.com and fill in that little form there. You'll get 1 email per week, 100% spam free. You'll get additional articles, information, recommendations of books and other resources, and sometimes you get exclusive offers that are only for my subscribers that nobody else ever gets to see. So go to wildspiritscoaching.com and sign up. Or you can Google Wild Spirits Coaching, that'll get you to my website as well. Thank you for watching.